There's nothing to defend that that 9 o'clock position. The question is just when does he know about it? Moving it looks like a pretty sizable attack force to that location. His main is completely mined out, which I think Ruby's still got some resources there. Needs to be a little bit careful otherwise. But yeah, I think it's just 3 bases. Yeah, his main's almost mined out. So it's just 3 bases and the pseudo fourth. Nice drop here backside at the 3 o'clock position, the upper 3 o'clock position. Going to get some damage here. For Zian, a little bit off the ball, not getting his SCVs out of position. That makes me assume he's microing someplace else. Being very greedy with expansions now, expanding all over the map now that he has the map advantage. Dropships pushing in to do some damage, clearing some mines as he's coming across. But right now I think Frazine's got this game capped in somewhat of a boring fashion, now dropping on it. He's just gonna try. He's just gonna. Well, now moving his SCV out. A couple of careless SCV kills or deaths, I should say. But he's got a lot of expansions. I think more expansions than he can really saturate with the amount of SCVs he wants to, because his secondary is still producing fairly well. And now he's going to have 5 bases, and he might want to fill up some of that difference with some troops. Anyway, just a thought. Looks like that command center had been lifted off, some siege tanks there at that lower corner, and isolating that out. He doesn't even have to worry about it. Ruby trying to take another base right quick. But the troop count of Frazine's just going to grow and grow and grow as long as he doesn't worry about macro. Ruby really needs to think about doing some sizable blow, and it looks like he managed to get some tanks somehow. Looks like he just wandered those up the ramp. That was bad form there, but a counter drop coming up for Frazine. He's going to be able to wipe them out. I think they just wandered straight up the ramp, and just as they siege, now one of them trying to unsiege, but it's going to be far too late and going way too far, actually. And you can see that this is, again, why these guys aren't as good Terran versus Terran. Able to wipe that out and maintain position there, but again, that was kind of silly. I'm kind of wondering what happened on the mini-map there. Maybe you guys can look back and see how they kind of wandered. I think they just went straight up. I don't think that was even dropships at that location. More sieging happening at the 530 position. 2 very damaged tanks, but getting repaired there by some SCVs. And I gotta say, Frazine's got this game. It's just a matter of time now. Looks like some counter drops coming in. The turret not going to be up in time, but still with that, the damage is done. And maybe he did go in with the drops. That's a sizable dropship force. Maybe he can use some dropships. I think if he went and a lot of machine shops down. Not a lot of factories though. I expected just more brunt factories at this stage, considering the raw amount, and a lot of dropships though. The raw amount of material. So many minerals, so much gas for Frazian. I would expect more dropships, and that's a little bit scattered. He's going to be able to clean this task force up very nicely there, taking the mine. Ooh, one mine taking out a whole lot of stuff there, actually, so going down. But now taking up residence again at the 530 position, going to be able to continue to shell up. More counter troops coming up, again getting kind of dropped piecemeal, and a pretty good spread there from Frazian, so he's going to be able to do some damage, but I believe Ruby is going to be able to cut this up. Doesn't matter though, because Frazine's got the rest of the map basically. He has so many bases comparatively. It's just up to him to macro, and I expected a more brutal macro task force at this stage. He's up significantly. He just needs to get more factories down and just kind of end it, honestly. And it's kind of I would say, a testament to his lack of TVT prowess that he hasn't already. He's got bases. I don't even think he needs to defend half of them, and right now he's just letting Ruby kind of linger in this game. Looks like a gas getting taken out. Now he's moving some SCVs in looks like a forward attack force. I think he just feels like he has too many. Perhaps he was supply capped on SCVs again because he just had so many expansions. That might have just been some SCVs in transfer. I'm not sure. Now counter dropping right there. And keep in mind, dropships absorb supply, and SCVs do absorb supply. So when you're at 8 bases full, or whatever Frazine's at right now, 1, 2, it looks like 1, 2, 3. Oh, he's just at 4 at the moment. But when he was at like whatever it was a couple seconds ago, SCVs can count for a lot of supply. Anyway, but yeah, you'd expect more forces out in the ground, and I just haven't seen a lot of forces out in the ground for Frazian. He's just, you can see piecemeal forces. I've seen a lot of dropships, but not a lot else. And he's just not macroing very well for the amount of, again, he's got so many expansions up. He should have 800 factories down at this stage of the map. Looks like he does have, let's see if he comsats or at least gets a Wraith out there to kind of view the position. I still think he's won this game because I think Ruby's just going to end up starving out here eventually. But Ruby still, I guess there are a lot of troops in that many dropships, and maybe the dropships again are just keeping between the dropships and the SCV. The supply cap is just kind of what he's running to, but nevertheless, I think maybe you should just switch to the ground force, keep just fewer dropships and run his way in otherwise. Tanks being dropped, again kind of at an odd position. He's still going to be able to clean this attack force up. Ruby being distracted with the bottom right corner, which really doesn't concern Frozine, or at least it shouldn't. He shouldn't care in firing more troops back. I don't think he really needs to care about that bottom right corner. He's up a lot of bases. He just needs to make sure he denies, again, that upper left, that bottom right, and he's solid. Main almost mined out for Ruby. It looks like the secondary is mined out. That's the only, so he's actually at 3 bases. So 3 bases versus 5 bases still mining at this stage. I don't think Frozine is mining, has very good SCV saturation, that upper left-hand base. We'll see what Frozine is up to, though. Again, he can just continue this war of attrition. He's just going to have more minerals in the bank, ultimately. He hasn't switched to battlecruisers, which he could at this stage if he felt like it. I guess it looks like he's just going to continue moving around the map with these dropships, 3 dropships versus several, and then he's going to be able to push in on that 9 o'clock position. This might be for GG for, for GG for Ruby right now. Reverse those. He's going to be able to take this base out. Yeah, going to have to lift up there. There's only 4 dropships. Otherwise, he's going to be able to load back up with this attack force, leave that Goliath there, and whatever Ruby does with that attack force, he's going to be able to deal with it. And it looks like he's already got troops in position. He's already got tanks. Ruby looking for a thread to do some sort of damage. Maybe he'll be able to drop on the main and get some factories down there otherwise. So, and we'll get a good look at the factory line. Maybe he'll just drop on this expansion right here. But again, Frozine can afford to lose bases. He can afford to lose this because he's got several more up comparatively. So, and there's that counter force I was talking about immediately moving in. So I think this is going to be GG from Ruby right here, because this counter force is going to drop all over it. And he's basically just down to 2 bases again versus 5, and he's just not going to be able to keep up with this ultimately. Losing it looks like all of that entire... Ooh, no, actually holding that. A little bit of a sloppy drop, I guess. But losing that, even though he had fewer forces on the ground, now it's finally getting wiped out. He's bringing his attack force back. More dropships up in the air for Frozine. Looks like they're severely damaged there for Ruby, and it's just 4 versus, it looks like 6 otherwise. And maybe Frozine could switch to Allwraith. He actually could do anything at this stage. He's got a lot of gas. He's got a lot of minerals. He's bringing a large, big attack force there to the 530 position. 1 tank getting taken out immediately, and I still think I'm not sure what the weapons upgrades are for Ruby, but keep in mind level 2 weapons there for Frozine, and he's had that for a while over Ruby, and that's also been kind of the name of the game otherwise. Excuse me, not in range of that tank, but killing SCVs very easily, and level 0 weapons there for Ruby on the opposite end, so his troops aren't even as attacky. They're not as good at providing attack support. So 4 more dropships pushing out, and I gotta assume this is going to be the last hurrah for Ruby. And where can it go? There's turrets up everywhere. It looks like there's a single SCV to kind of view that. Maybe he can use 1 to kind of filter and drop. Otherwise, Comsat's going off from Frozine to kind of keep a good look at where that is. The counter dropships for defense moving in. Maybe he's worried about the 330 position. There's nowhere that Ruby can go, though. He can drop wherever he wants. The attack force is eventually just going to get wiped out either way, and he's not going to be able to establish an additional base, and he's going to run out of resources. So this game firmly in Frozine's hands. Frozine is going to go to the final match at this stage, and now it's just kind of a matter of time before these troops drop. And this is the thing, is Frozine, again, I think he could have ended this game a lot sooner, but he plays like this this match. But watch, next match, I bet it's epic. Again, sometimes he plays well, sometimes he doesn't. It looks like, yeah, it almost felt like a going out granny style, you know, just going out on the bets. Frozine finally winning, and a little bit like, come on, give me a break, kid, already, and Ruby just did not want to go out. A very emotional loss for him. You can tell he wanted to advance this season. Unfortunately, in a group of Alterran, his weakest matchup. If he's going to advance, he can't just rely on drawing Zerg. Can't rely on drawing Zerg and expect to win in MSL. Although I guess it has happened before. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you for listening, and again, check out all those links in the description.